Good day and welcome to HTMi Hospitality TV. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Mrs. Natalie O'Dalaigh, HR Manager of the 5-star boutique hotel, Duke's Hotel in London. Natalie, welcome to HTMi.
Thank you, it's lovely to be here.
It's great to have you. The last time we met was in London, just before the Olympic Games, and we had a great opportunity to chat, and you showed me fantastic hospitality at Duke's Hotel. And I'm very happy that, finally we managed that you could travel here to Switzerland, where we can show you in our hotel school our 5-star hospitality.
It's been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Today I would like to talk to you about two main topics, starting off with HR-related aspects and later going into leadership. Today you've spent a very busy day doing various seminars with our students, where you focused on various HR topics, the importance of professional grooming, professional resumes, interview questions, and so on. And my first question is regarding resumes. Of course, you mentioned to all the students, the necessary information is required, contact details, your experience, your education. What I would like to ask you is, what other important information do HR managers look for on a resume?
I always look for somebody that stands out from the crowd. What have they done over and above what's expected of them? So yes, the students come here and they study very hard and they obtain their degree. But what else have they obtained during their time at the HTMi? What else have they done? Have they been a class captain? Have they got involved in a charity event? What have they done over and above what's expected of them to shine, to stand out from the crowd?
And what does that information say about a potential candidate?
Shows me that they want to go the extra mile. It shows me that they've got passion, determination, drive. Perhaps they're a leader, but it shows somebody that really wants to go that extra mile, and that translates into the workplace as showing initiative, organisational skills, planning, teamwork, and perhaps managing a team as well.
You also mentioned the importance of correct contact details.
Vital. Absolutely vital. If you, like me, are receiving 30, 40 CVs a day, you need to be able to get hold of candidates that you'd quite like to interview. If the telephone number is wrong, that says to me lack of care and attention to detail, and that does not translate in a 5-star hotel. Again, with email addresses, I have had occasion where the email address has been wrong. It's very irritating and it's frustrating. It's a simple thing for the applicant to get right, and it's essential that the applicant does get it right.
Right. I agree with that point, 100%. You were also talking regarding finding out a lot of information about a hotel before a potential candidate comes for the job interview.
Yeah.
What specific information should a candidate be looking for on a hotel?
I think go to the hotel's website first off. There's lots of information on every hotel website. So find out the basic facts and figures. How big is the hotel in terms of room size? How many restaurants does it have? What's its bar called? What kind of drinks do they serve? What's the style of the bar? What's the star rating? Is it part of a chain? Is it an independent hotel? And find out a little bit about the company and the individual hotel. Over and above that, what's going to impress, if you start Googling some of the managers' names, for example, our general manager at Duke's Hotel, if you Google her name, there are lots and lots of hits on the internet about achievements that she's had in the industry, interviews she's done. So if somebody were to come to the hotel interview and say, I know that Duke's is a 5-star hotel, I know it's got 90 bedrooms, you're part of small luxury hotels, but what really interests me as well was the fact that your general manager, O'Dalaigh, she did an interview on service, and actually that really appealed to me, her service philosophy. That to me would be somebody standing out from the crowd.
I mean, last year before I interviewed yourself, and I also had the privilege of interviewing Deborah Duggar, your general manager, I did spend a lot of time researching, especially going to your LinkedIn profiles, because I found, even though we may not be connected, there is a ton of information, about previous experience you've had, and finding out other information.
Yes. There really is. There is so much on the internet these days. There really is no excuse. If you're not in the same country and you don't have the benefit of being able to visit the property, you can do so much research on the internet.
You said something very interesting in the one of the seminars today. You said to them, you're the elite, you are Swiss hotel school graduates.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give a graduate to make use of that great opportunity?
Absolutely. I mean, still in the UK, Swiss hotel schools are seen as the best. They really are. But, you know, the individuals that come out of that hotel school can almost really make or break the reputation of that particular hotel school. So you can't afford to be complacent. You've reached a certain level in your career of achieving a degree or a diploma or a certificate at a hotel management school in Switzerland, and that's fantastic. But if you turn up to the interview and make the mistakes that other people make, then it puts you at a disadvantage, actually, because I would expect somebody that has the benefit of the education of a hotel school like this to know how to present themselves at interview, to have listened to their tutors and make sure they arrive on time, make sure they arrive properly dressed, make sure they have the research and the questions. If they don't, it actually puts a big black mark against their name because it says, okay, I don't think that you're showing that you care about applying for this job.
Now, Duke's Hotel is a 5-star boutique hotel, and you know there are many other brands out there. You have Duke's, you have the Mandarin Orientals, the Four Seasons of the world. You've worked for Four Seasons, you've worked for One Norwich. Of course, students have great educations, whether in a Swiss hotel management school or elsewhere. They have the necessary education, the skills. But what else do they need to be successful, not just within the 5-star industry, but within the industry in general, besides, you know, the education and the experience? What are the personal qualities they may need?
You need to have passion. Absolutely need to be passionate. This isn't a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job. You need to be fully committed to doing this job and have a love to do it. It really needs to be part of your DNA almost, that you get a buzz out of providing great service, you get a buzz out of teamwork, you're prepared to work hard and commit to your department, to the team, to the hotel as a whole, and you're prepared to work really hard. It's one of the few industries that after years and years of study, you can't walk in and just be a general manager. You must get the work experience behind you. So a lot of hard work, dedication and determination is required in this industry.
Now, Duke's is a real 5-star boutique hotel, and you offer quality guest service. What percentage of your guests are repeat customers as opposed to new customers?
We have an awful lot of repeat customers. We're very lucky. We have customers that have returned up to 400 times, which is really amazing. And we very much make sure that we recognise our regular guests. So people that come back time and time again, we should know what kind of pillow they need without them being asked. We should know if they're allergic to a certain food type. We should know if they like a particular room without them being asked. And that's something we pride ourselves on, in that we do recognise our regular guests. We do make sure that we cater to their every individual need, and that's actually what keeps them coming back.
So how do you, as senior management in such an establishment, maintain all the time that quality levels of service that you provide?
We make sure we lead by example. From the management team, everybody is working towards that one goal, that one vision of being the best boutique hotel in London. That's what we want to be, and that's what we want to keep on being. So we never accept less than 100%. If somebody, perhaps their Duke's pin is not on straight, they need to straighten it. If their shoes aren't polished, they need to polish them. If they're not going and above and providing the fantastic service, why? What's going wrong? What can we do to improve it? We never settle for second best. We always try to be the best.
So do you also put a lot of emphasis on training and retraining the staff? Absolutely,
yes. When people come in, the first thing they'll have is a hotel induction to get them involved in the hotel culture and in what we expect of them. Our training plan this year involves upselling, customer service, dealing with challenging guests, all the tips and tools to help staff to deal with the everyday situations. From our manager's viewpoint, we're concentrating on how do we get them to develop their team? How do we get them to recognise the leaders of tomorrow, the people that need future development? How do we get them to have effective communication with members of their team? So we're all looking at the communication process within the hotel as well.
Now, in 2012, Duke's won many international awards and accolades. You've won Europe's Leading Boutique Hotel 2012, England's Leading Boutique Hotel 2012, the World's Ultimate Service Hospitality Award 2012, and the World's Leading Classic Boutique Hotel. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But that must be a huge challenge to upkeep these standards.
It really is. It's fantastic to win these awards. It really is great. But once you've set the bar that high, you've got to keep there, and that's often harder. The reason that we've achieved these awards is because our product is fantastic, absolutely. But it's ultimately down to the service we provide and the people that provide that service. So it's all about looking after the people that provide that service and making sure they continue to provide that service, because any lapse will be noted by our guests.
Correct. And I mean, of course, you want to win more awards, you know, again,
It
be
would
the
be
world's
great.
leading boutique hotel 2013
Yeah.
and so on. So that must also be a big challenge for management, because a lot of the emphasis of that service lies on the staff.
Yes, it really does. In 2012, we were awarded the 5AA Red Stars. That's the highest accolade you can get for stars in the UK. So that's great. Now we've got to work really hard at maintaining it. A manager can't do everything. We all rely on each other to get the job done, and managers have to trust their team to get the job done. So you're only really as good a manager as when you're not there. So are your staff still working to those high standards? Are they still making sure that every T is crossed and every I is dotted, that they never lapse in service? How do managers get their staff to do that? Well, that's a lot of communication, that's a lot of training, and that's a lot of trust and mutual respect that their jobs will get done. It's really important that people take a pride in their work. If the staff are taking a pride in their work, which I believe our staff do, they will make sure that they're working to 100% all of the time.
That's a very interesting point. So how do you think you differentiate yourself from other five-star luxury hotels in London?
I'm very biased towards Duke's London. I love Duke's London, but I do believe we've got a very special team. We've got a very special formula. We've worked hard over the years to build the teams, to make sure that we've got the right people for us and our culture in the hotel. So we very much employ people who are very passionate about hospitality, people that are natural service people, people that enjoy talking to people, that enjoy helping other people, and that are great team workers. I think without that, the teams would struggle. But we're very fortunate through the recruitment process that we got a great calibre of candidates coming in for interview, and that translates into great teams.
Something I found really interesting that you mentioned over and over again in all the seminars you did today, based on certain personal skills of candidates, was outstanding teamwork,
Yes.
outstanding communication skills, and so on.
Yes, absolutely. It's really, really important. Teamwork is essential. We all rely so heavily on each other in hotels. Each department is interdependent. So you need to have people that are willing to help each other. We have a saying in Duke's that we all do luggage. And what that means is, if I'm walking through reception, although my job title is to work in HR, if a guest is struggling with luggage, I go and help. There's never a culture of, that's not my job, you'll have to go and ask the porter. Absolutely not. We all get involved. We all help.
I think that's great, because that's also creating this culture of management by example. You know, if the general manager or the HR manager can do a check-in, can carry luggage, pick up a piece of paper, I think that's great standards to also instill in the staff, you know, and to motivate them as well.
Absolutely, and it's leading by example. Nobody is too grand in the hotel if they see a paperclip on the floor in the wrong place or a piece of paper in the wrong place to pick it up and put it away where it should be. We're all very much involved in that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your career path, where you started up until you reached the position of HR manager in such a
Absolutely.
world-leading five-star property?
Absolutely, be happy to. I always wanted to be a receptionist. I never wanted to be anything else. I just wanted to be a hotel receptionist. So I worked through school doing my A-levels and GCSEs, part-time in coffee shops, yacht clubs, at the local pub, just getting some weekend and part-time work. I took a year out before university and worked in a London hotel up the top of Regent Street. And I was working as a food and beverage waitress, and I literally worked breakfast, lunch and dinner. I actually forgot I was supposed to be on split shifts, ended up working 18-hour days, and then was quite shocked after about 3 months to see that I'd been paid all this money that I didn't even remember because I was working too hard and because I was living off my tips. It was fantastic. I went to university and studied for 4 years and did an industrial release placement in the Shell Centre at Waterloo, which was a great experience for in-house catering. And upon graduation, got my dream of working in a hotel in reception. Absolutely adored it and very quickly worked my way up to reception manager. For personal reasons, I decided to move to Dublin, and I ended up moving to Dublin for 4 years. And it was at that stage that my career kind of diversified. There wasn't a position of reception manager in Dublin for me to take. It was either front of house manager or head receptionist, and I didn't want to take either of those. So I managed to get a great job as PA to the general manager of an opening hotel. And through that, I kind of fell into HR, in that when the HR manager finally joined the hotel pre-opening, he asked me if I would like to develop my career in HR. And I'd been very interested up until that point. And from there, well, the rest is history, really. 4 seasons pre-opening, 1 of which for 6 years, a year in a city centre Dublin hotel as HR manager, and now at Duke's.
So, as an HR manager, I mean, you hire people, you recruit people, you interview people. Looking back on all that experience, would you say, having worked in different areas, that has actually helped you within your current position in human resources?
Very much so. I think I can very much empathise what it feels like to be on your feet for 8 hours a day behind a reception desk, fielding calls from other departments, guests in-house, guests, external guests, and guests coming up to the front desk and asking perhaps the same question that you've heard 10 times that day, but you've got to pretend like it's the first time you've heard that question and help the guest. I appreciate what it feels like to do a long shift in the restaurant, to do a breakfast shift, running around when your feet ache so much at the end of the shift. I appreciate what that feels like, and I think it makes me more empathetic towards the staff.
Can you tell me a little bit about the HR process, from hiring, training, maintaining service excellence from housekeeper all the way up to manager?
For the hiring process, we advertise on our website and on job boards. And then the recruitment process is really, first of all, when the CVs are gathered, to look at what people have done in the past. What is their motivation? Why did they want to work? From the CVs, then we shortlist and then we interview. And at the interview stage, it really is about team fit and willingness and ability to do the job. If somebody's not willing to work weekends or not willing to work evenings, then they can't be working in the housekeeping department, for example. So we need to really test if it's a win-win situation, if the relationship will work. Then we choose the successful person. We always take references just to make sure that the person has worked where they said they have and achieved what they've said they've achieved. And then from the recruitment stage, there's the offer stage, and then it would be a 3-month probation where it's a getting to know you period, where it's a chance for the staff member to settle in and settle into the culture and the ways of the hotel. At the 3-month stage, then the probationary review will take place, where employment is either agreed, or whether the extension is made on the probation. Perhaps there's more learning to be made, or indeed very few occasions that it may be that we part company at that stage because the relationship is not working. From there, it's lots of training and development that's just ongoing throughout somebody's life in the hotel. So whether it's health and safety training, which obviously is a legal requirement, or whether it's cross-training, which we're doing a lot of at the moment, where staff perhaps want to develop into other areas of the hotel. They will spend a day or a couple of hours a week in another department cross-training. Those have been some wonderful insights and thoughts, into the HR process.